Hey everyone, it's Mr. T Does PE back with another episode of trying to help you figure it out. So today we're sitting here in a car, and I thought to myself, well, when we talk about energy systems in the human body, it's much like being in a car. When we drive, what's our fuel we use? We use gasoline. When we look at our energy systems in the human body, it comes down to one thing as well, and that's ATP, 3 little letters, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So how do we get there? Same thing. So if we were in a car and we're driving along, we're at the stop sign, 10 and 2, right? Got to make sure you're at the right angles. Put it into gear, you step on the gas, you accelerate. Start to proceed. If we want to stop, that's great, we take our foot off the gas. But if we want to continue to keep going at that pace or at that speed, we're going to have to change gears. And in doing so, we'll accelerate into a further and faster speed, much like we want to in our body. And if we want to continue and get faster and faster and faster, we got to shift through the gears. Now, if you're driving a manual transmission or stick, okay, you have to make the shifts yourself. But if you're driving automatic, it's all automatic. So in the human body, it's automatic. So we're sitting there at the starting line of a race. We want to get going, or we're sitting down in our chair and we want to get up and start moving. What do? We hit the first energy system, our ATP creatine phosphate system. Uses what's there, the ATP in our muscles and any creatine phosphate that's around the muscle that we can quickly grab, split off, and create ATP for energy. We want to continue to go or get faster. We're going to run out of ATP. We don't have a tank like a car does. So we have to start to take fuels from all over. So our next fuel system is using the glycolysis network, where we start to grab sugars from all over, convert them through a long process, don't worry, not going to go into it now, and start to break off and make ATP. And we can continue to do that and do that. Now, this is called the anaerobic alactic system for a reason, because it develops, anaerobic lactic system, because it develops lactic acid. And we all know that doesn't feel good. So it was our one big waste product. A lot of people think that's why we stop. No, it hurts, and a lot of us stop there, but we actually could keep going. And we can train that system, which is really brutal, to continue to go and go and go to fight through that barrier. Now, if we wanted to continue to drive, let's say we're on the highway, all right, and we're driving, and we're finally get up to speed, and we want to continue. We're not going to be able to accelerate very quickly, but we'll be able to go for a long period of time. This is like in our body when we hit the aerobic system. We start to use fats, proteins to break down. They take much longer to break down and to give us those fuels, but we'll be able to maintain that intensity, okay, a little bit lower than we would be able in the other two systems, but we'll maintain that for a longer duration of time. See, the body's kind of cool. Much like being in a driving situation where maybe you need to accelerate, slow down, accelerate, go, the body kind of looks at duration or time we're going to exercise or maintain, and an intensity. And if the intensity is too high, the duration comes down. But if the duration, you want to keep it up there, we're going to have to drop the intensity down to kind of keep that going. Now, for athletes that train, they don't want that drop to happen too much. So they train that level so the intensity drops, but not as much, and they can maintain that for a longer period of time. I guess that's what makes the greats great. So when we look at it from an energy standpoint, driving a car from a stop to the highway, go through the gears. For the human body, same thing. We want to use our ATP CP system to start to get going. Glycolysis to further accelerate, get going really fast. Now, if we want to kind of drop down our speed, but go for a long period of time, we hit the aerobic system and take it all in breath. Now, what happens when we've all been there, we see that finish line in a race, and all of a sudden, boom, we can accelerate. It's like dropping down a gear, hitting that glycolytic system for that short burst of energy to make us run through the finish line. Speaking of finish line, it's summertime. I better go. Take care, have fun.